If there is one storyline about the 2024 Bears season that is going completely underrated, it's the development of Gervon Dexter Sr., my favorite player from the 2023 draft class, a guy I dubbed a quarterback's worst nightmare after the draft last year. He is my breakout player for the 2024 Chicago Bears. And today is actually my birthday, and I thought, what a better time to remind people of my breakout player for the season, Gervon Dexter Sr., an absolute freak of an athlete who was named to Bruce Feldman's Freaks list. He's 6'6", 310 pounds. Dexter is a monster of a man who, before he beefed up this season, could already squat 655 pounds and bench 425. A guy who terrorized the SEC. I was so happy when we landed Dexter in the draft, and you could see his raw emotion.
Ready, man. Let's do it. Ready, man. I promise I'm ready.
But then I heard fans, media, and draft analysts criticize the pick. They said he was slow off the line of scrimmage. I even heard people call him lazy and a bust. But then Dexter would set a goal of getting 8 sacks this season, and after 4 games, he's already well on his way. I never understood the criticism. I thought Gervon Dexter was a monster. He started out a bit slowly last year, but he really turned a corner after we acquired Montez Sweat. And then in the offseason this year, he transformed his body and set a goal of getting 8 sacks this season. And now after 4 games, he's well on his way, currently on pace to record 13 sacks. Gervon Dexter was already a monster, but he put in a ton of work this offseason transforming his body, and he was one of the hardest working players this year in all of training camp. He showed up every day to practice and was constantly elevating his game and hustling. I do have some film work to show as well, but first I wanted to compare Gervon Dexter to the top defensive tackle taken in last year's draft, and the guy that the fans and media wanted us to take, Jalen Carter. Carter was a top 10 pick, while Dexter fell to the second round. I thought Gervon had just as much upside as Carter, and I thought his weaknesses on the scouting report were all correctable. Most scouts noted that he played with a high pad level, and while he was already known as a stout run defender, scouts questioned his pass rush ability and his burst off the line of scrimmage. He was called slow off the ball, and I heard draft pundits say he was lazy and had a poor motor, not to mention that he was incapable of getting off the line of scrimmage. I didn't buy any of this, and I thought it was a joke that some scouting reports had him as a 4th-round pick. This is a guy with first-round talent to me, and I watched all of Gervon Dexter's tape at Florida. I disagreed with the scouts. Yes, his pad level was high at times, but the raw traits were all there. I thought people missed the fact that Gervon was asked to read and react at Florida. That was his job, to react to what the offense did and then attack. To me, Dexter should have went in the 1st round, and he was a guy who profiled as a prototypical 3 technique in Matt Eberflus's defense, but he also brings the versatility to play nose tackle as well. This is a guy with as much upside as any player in the draft, if you ask me. He was such a freak athlete when he came out. I even compared him to a more athletic Chris Jones. He has the similar size, power, and athleticism that Chris Jones does, but he's actually more athletic. Ryan Poles, of course, is very familiar with Chris Jones from his time in Kansas City. So now I wanted to go ahead and showcase a bit of what Dexter has brought to this defensive line. Through 4 games this year, Big Dex has looked like the most improved player on this entire roster. He's been virtually unblockable and relentless in his pursuit of quarterbacks. He has been a monster on this defensive line. But even when he hasn't gotten home, he's still putting pressure on quarterbacks, forcing bad throws, tipping passes, and stifling running backs. But he's getting through the offensive line. He's getting through double teams. He's hustling. He is absolutely flying off the line of scrimmage. And on top of that, he plays with so much power and force. And you add that with the quickness he brings, and he's just unblockable at times. This was his sack this week against the Rams. Just an absolute monster. But here's one where he didn't even get a sack. This was against Will Levis. Look at that move to the inside. So much power, so much speed. Boom. He's just a split second away from this sack. But look at this hit he puts on the quarterback. You're going to feel Big Dex when he's in the game. Boom. Gervon Dexter has been awesome this year. 3 sacks. He's 6th in the NFL in pass rush win rate. But what he brings to the run game, there's times, look at this, where Andrew Billings is in the game. And teams are double teaming Gervon Dexter over Andrew Billings. And he's powerful enough to fight through those and still make plays. But Gervon Dexter just continues getting better and better. And this is just the start of his second season in the NFL. And if he continues playing like this next to Montez Sweat, he has the potential to be the best defensive tackle in the NFL. He is a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks and someone that offensive coordinators have to game plan for, along with Montez Sweat. We're still early in season 2 of Gervon Dexter's career, but he's a guy who has as much potential as anyone on our roster. He's ferocious, powerful, and he's an absolute freak of an athlete. He also plays with so much passion and a non-stop motor. This is a guy who's running all over the field, chasing down running backs from behind, getting out to the sidelines on screen passes and stretch plays. He fits Matt Eberflus's defense perfectly, and he's going to be a staple of this defensive line for the next decade, knock on wood. I love Gervon Dexter. He is a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. He is the 3-tech that this defense has been looking for and that Matt Eberflus has needed. Now that Gervon Dexter has taken his game to the next level, this defense is legit, and he's exactly what we need to complement Montez Sweat. Those two on this defensive line will allow everyone else to look better, and once Zach Pickens gets back, I think that'll be even better for this defensive line. To me, Gervon Dexter has all-pro upside. I think he can be one of the best defensive tackles in the entire league, and his development so far in year 2 is nothing but positive. I love this guy. I'm rooting so hard for Gervon Dexter, and if he keeps playing this way, he should be in the Pro Bowl this season. What do you guys think about Gervon Dexter's development? I think it's been key to how well this defense has played over the last 10 plus games. Gervon Dexter is legit. He is the real deal, and everyone who said he was going to be a bust can eat their words. This guy is a quarterback's worst nightmare. Let me know your thoughts. I appreciate everyone who watches. Please remember to hit that like button for me. Stay tuned, and until next time, bear down.